Hey, Black and White Sports Reporters. Well, we got some details on the new basketball league that is coming that is funded by a public investment group from Saudi Arabia. Did a video yesterday. Nika Agumake, she signed what is believed to be a pretty good sizable deal. No figures have come out on it as of yet. By the way, she's the WNBA Players Union president. And yeah, it is in here that this was done partially as a tactic in the direction of the WNBA owners.
The basketball world just totally blew up. Jake B is offering WNBA stars these multi-million-dollar salaries. I mean, Caitlyn Clark actually has an offer right now that could make her richer than most NBA players. We're talking generational wealth, all from just one season overseas. Saudi Arabia's Project B just came in, wrote a blank check, and the amount tied to Caitlyn's name has everyone in sports losing their minds. Honestly, this is the WNBA's absolute worst nightmare coming true. So, what do you think? Should Caitlyn just take the money and run, or stick with the WNBA? Jump in the comments and let me know right now.
League right here, Project B, which is offering players serious money. I was about to say scandalous money, but it's not. Like, it says here, it's offering players $2 million plus per year. Apparently, the star player contracts start at $2 million. Not the 200K that they had in Unrivaled, the $2 million. They are paying 10x.
Listen, the Middle East isn't messing around when it comes to sports. These guys bought entire soccer leagues. They snatched up golf's biggest stars, and now they're coming for basketball. Their pockets are deeper than the Grand Canyon. No joke. And guess who's at the very top of their shopping list? Yep, it's Caitlyn Clark. This is the same woman who filled arenas, crashed streaming services, and made even casual fans actually care about women's basketball. Project B isn't playing small ball here at all. We're hearing numbers from $50 million to possibly $100 million. Some rumors are even whispering about a billion-dollar deal. Yeah, you heard that right, a billion with a capital B. Now, whether that's totally real or just media hype, it doesn't even matter anymore. The message is crystal clear. They want Caitlyn, and they are willing to pay whatever it takes to get her.
Across my phone that says Neko Agumake becomes the first player known to join new Project B league in Europe and Asia. Neko Agumake, the president of the WNBPA, in the middle of these CBA negotiations where literally everything is on fire right now in the world of women's basketball. Everything is burning. Neka is announced as the very first player who will be joining this league that not only is a league that runs during the off season, but they have marketed themselves as a league that will rival the WNBA. It's a 5v5 league.
The WNBA right now must be having full-on heart palpitations. They've got Caitlyn on a rookie contract that pays her next to nothing compared to what she's actually worth. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia is literally backing up a Brinks truck to her doorstep. But here's the thing, this isn't just about the money. This is about respect. It's about value. It's about showing the world what women's basketball is truly worth when someone with real money decides to invest. Let's be real for a second. The WNBA has been underpaying its stars for decades. They've been telling these women to be patient, to understand the economics, to just build the brand slowly. Then Caitlyn Clark shows up, fills arenas, breaks viewership records, and suddenly everyone realizes women's basketball was always valuable. The league just wasn't willing to pay for it. Now Project B rolls in and says, hey, we'll pay what she's actually worth. And honestly, the audacity is beautiful.
Ever seen. In the middle of the craziest negotiations for a new CBA, the president has now signed with another league who promotes their league as the rival league to the WNBA.
And get this, it gets even more interesting. They already signed Nega Ogwumike. Yeah, the WNBA Players Association president herself. That's not a coincidence, folks. That's pure strategy. They grabbed the woman who knows exactly what every player in the league wants, what they're unhappy about, and what it would take to get them to leave. That's like hiring the opposition's general to run your own army. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Project B officials have said the 66 players who they want for their league, so there's 66 players that they are targeting. I wonder who those 66 players could possibly be. The format calls for 6 teams of 11 women each will receive larger salaries than those currently offered by the WNBA. While the financial specifics haven't been disclosed, the potential of more lucrative compensation comes at an important moment for women's professional basketball. Like, this article is already comical.
Think about what Nneka brings to the table. She's been in all those negotiation rooms. She knows exactly which players are frustrated with their current situations. She knows who's tired of playing overseas in sketchy conditions just to make decent money. She has the absolute inside scoop on everything, and now she's working for the competition. The WNBA must be in a complete panic right now. Project B isn't just throwing money around randomly, either. They've got former Facebook executives, Skype co-founders, and even actual WNBA champions like Candace Parker and Elena Della Don as investors. This isn't some fly-by-night operation that's going to collapse after one season. These people are completely serious. They've got $5 billion in funding lined up, and they're planning to run tournaments across Asia, Europe, and Latin America, starting in November. $5 billion. Let me say that again for the people in the back. $5 billion. The entire WNBA doesn't have that kind of money. Not even close. This is Middle Eastern money we're talking about, the kind of money where they can decide to buy a league on Tuesday and have it fully funded by Wednesday, the kind of money we're offering Caitlyn Clark. $100 million is just another line item in the budget. Now, let's talk about what this means for Caitlyn specifically. She's already the biggest name in women's basketball. She's got shoe deals, endorsements, and more media attention than most NBA players, but her WNBA salary, it's genuinely embarrassing compared to her actual value. Project B is offering her the chance to actually get paid what she's worth, not what some antiquated league structure says she should make, but what the free market determines she's worth. And before anyone starts with the loyalty talk, let's pump the brakes for a second. Loyalty is a two-way street, right? Was the WNBA loyal to these women when they were paying them poverty wages for decades? Was the league loyal when players had to go overseas every offseason just to afford rent? Loyalty doesn't pay bills, and it definitely doesn't build generational wealth. Saudi Arabia is offering Caitlyn the chance to set up her entire family for life with one single contract. The haters are already out in full force though. They're saying she should stay in America, that she owes it to the WNBA, that taking foreign money is somehow wrong. But these same people weren't saying anything when NBA players were signing deals with Chinese shoe companies, or when the league itself was bending over backward to please international markets. But now that women's basketball has options, suddenly there's a moral issue. The hypocrisy is stunning. Here's what people don't understand about the Middle East's sports investment strategy. They're not doing this to lose money. They're doing it to diversify their economy, build their global brand, and establish themselves as major players in international sport. They did it with soccer, bringing Cristiano Ronaldo and others to their league. They did it with golf, creating LIV Golf and poaching the PGA's biggest names. Now they're doing it with basketball, and they're starting with women's basketball because they see the untapped potential. The timing couldn't be worse for the WNBA either. They're in the middle of trying to negotiate a new media rights deal. Attendance is way up thanks largely to Caitlyn, and they finally have momentum. Then, Project B shows up and threatens to poach their biggest stars right when the league needs them most. It's like watching someone build a sandcastle for hours, just to have a giant wave come and wash it all away. And let's talk about the other players for a minute. Angel Reese, who's had her own incredible impact on the league, is also reportedly being courted. Even average WNBA players are looking at multi-million-dollar offers. This isn't just about the superstars anymore. Project B is trying to gut the entire league by offering everyone more money than they've ever dreamed of. How do you even compete with that? The answer is you can't. Not really. The WNBA doesn't have Saudi oil money. They can't just magically increase everyone's salary tenfold. They're constrained by actual economics, revenue sharing, and decades of underinvestment. Meanwhile, Project B is playing with house money, and that house is a literal pallet. Some people are comparing this to when Diana Taurasi skipped the 2015 WNBA season to rest while playing in Russia, where she made $1.5 million. Back then, that was seen as a huge deal. Now that looks like pocket change compared to what Project B is offering. The game has completely changed, and the WNBA's traditional leverage over players is just evaporating. Think about what Project B is offering beyond just the money too. Year-round basketball means year-round paychecks. No more grinding overseas in subpar conditions. No more playing in empty gyms in Turkey or Russia. They're promising world-class facilities, international exposure, and the chance to build women's basketball into a truly global sport. That's actually really appealing, even beyond the money. The WNBA's entire model has been based on players having limited options. Sure, they could go overseas, but that meant leaving home for months, dealing with sketchy leagues, and hoping the money actually showed up. Now, Project B is offering the same international money, but with American-level organization and Saudi-level funding. That's a total game changer. And let's address the elephant in the room. Some people have issues with Saudi Arabia's human rights record. But where's that same energy when we talk about the NBA's relationship with China? Or when American companies do billions in business with countries that have questionable records? Athletes have always had to make complicated choices about where they play and who they work for. This is no different. What makes this situation absolutely wild is that Project B is literally playing by the rules. They're not forcing anyone to leave. They're just offering better terms. That's free market capitalism at its finest. The WNBA spent years saying the market determines salaries, and now the market is speaking loud and clear. Turns out when you introduce actual competition, prices go up. Who could have predicted that, right? The WNBA's response has been predictably defensive. They're trying to downplay the threat, emphasizing the value of playing in America, talking about building the brand together. But at the end of the day, they just can't match these offers. They literally cannot compete on salary, and everyone knows it. So now they're trying to appeal to emotion and loyalty, which is a losing strategy when someone's offering you generational wealth. For Caitlyn specifically, this decision is probably easier than people think. She's already conquered the WNBA in terms of impact and attention. She's already the face of women's basketball. What else is there for her to prove domestically? Taking the Project B money doesn't diminish her legacy. If anything, it shows she knows her worth and isn't afraid to demand it. Plus, think about the precedent this set. If Caitlyn takes the bag, every future women's basketball star now knows they have options. They don't have to just accept whatever the WNBA offers. They can play overseas for real money, not just supplemental income. That fundamentally changes the power dynamic in women's basketball forever. The conspiracy theorist in me wonders if Project B specifically targeted the WNBA because they knew it was vulnerable. The league has been underpaying players for so long that the entire roster is basically one good offer away from leaving. It's like they've been building up potential energy for years, and Project B just came along and released it all at once. What happens if Caitlyn actually takes this deal? The WNBA loses its biggest draw, attendance drops, viewership plummets, and their media rights negotiations take a massive hit. Other players see Caitlyn getting paid and start demanding the same, or just leaving for Project B. Within a year or two, the WNBA could be a shell of itself, reduced to a developmental league for players hoping to get noticed by Project B scouts. That sounds dramatic, but it's actually realistic. Look what happened to boxing when Saudi Arabia started hosting major fights. Look what happened to golf when LEV started. Traditional leagues and organizations lost leverage fast when someone with deeper pockets entered the market. The WNBA is not immune to these same forces. The irony is that the WNBA had years to address this issue. They could have paid their stars fairly. They could have shared revenue more equitably. They could have invested in marketing and growth. Instead, they just maintained the status quo, assured that players had nowhere else to go. Well, now they have somewhere else to go, and that somewhere comes with a paycheck that actually reflects their value. The basketball world just changed forever, and Caitlyn Clark is right in the middle of it. Project B isn't playing games, and neither should she. If you think this story is crazy, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, because this situation is just getting started. Drop a comment and let me know if you would take the money. I'll catch you in the next one.